gentlemen. We'll try to make it as exciting as possible. So let me quickly, start with a question which was actually not a part of the script. If you have to kind of take 20, 30 seconds like a Shark Tank pitch, right? And you have to introduce yourself in terms of what you're doing, what would that be?
So I'm Anki. I've been traveling the world for the past 10 years now, and what keeps me going is chasing the maddest experiences. As you guys, my fellow lovely panelists would agree, that the craziest the experience is, the madder the joy of experiencing it is. And I love going to offbeat places. I love going to places that have not been explored before. I think that's my jam. So yeah.
And what's the secret sauce behind the name Monkey Inc? What's the connect with travel?
I wish it was. It's the randomest thing ever, but my friends call me Anki Monkey. And so one of my friends actually forced me to start my blog. I didn't really want to become a travel blogger at all, so you got to thank him for that. But yeah, because he forced me to start it, I was like, now you got to name it. Like, it's not my problem anymore. So he called it Monkey Inc. So it's basically Monkey Incorporated. And I tried to change it a year or two ago, and now people are just like, you're monkey. That's not going to change. So yeah, that's the story behind.
Bjorn, your elevator pitch starts now.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, great to be in India, by the way. So, I've basically been traveling my whole life. I left Iceland when I was 20 and moved to Africa. And that's where I really just fell in love with traveling and just realized this is my life for the rest of my life. And I just found ways to support my travels. And eventually I decided to try to make it out of a living as well. So I started Crazy Puffin Adventures. And Crazy Puffin Adventures offers unique, off-the-beaten path adventures to countries like Syria, Afghanistan, Yemen, Socotra. And we've been running this now for about 3 years. And I can't wait to introduce more locations for Crazy Puffins.
Thank you very much, everyone. My name is Manish. I'm a hotel school graduate, worked with the Oberoi Hotels. That's where my career started as a concierge. Little did I know, standing at the concierge desk, that, next I would be selling or traveling to Antarctica and Arctic and the North Pole. So that's primarily what I do. I help people travel to the most inaccessible places on Earth, which is North Pole, Antarctica, and everything in between. My cruise company, which is Puna, it's a French company. We go all 7 continents. So yeah, that's what I primarily do now. Sounds great. So a quick vibe check. What do you make of the Gypsy Travel Fest? How's the vibe like? Oh, it's quite fun. It's always interesting to meet people and also talk to them about the things that probably they do not know of from a destination point of view, of helping them plan of how to look at certain journeys. Because there's so much that goes behind planning any travel, be it even to Thailand or to Antarctica. I'm sure everyone is looking forward to that experience, always of a lifetime, and clearly, figuratively, and literally, when it's Antarctica and Arctic, all the more important. Yeah, so that's fun. Yeah, awesome. So beyond, I'll come back to all the great stuff that you're doing in Sri Lanka, setting up a business in Sri Lanka, and obviously, catering to the offbeat countries and destinations. But I want to ask a quick, question just to get started and wind up. What's that one song that you really like when you're traveling? It's always there in your playlist.
Well, I love music, and I listen to a lot of music when I'm traveling. Beatles are definitely my favorite band of all time. I listen a lot to 70s music. But one song that would always hit my playlist is probably Salisbury Hill by Peter Gabriel. I think that would always enter on my playlist.
I love Hey Jude, by the way, and I'm a Beatles fan as well.
Oh, nice.
Any favorite of yours?
I think one of my favorite bands is Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros. And there are 2 songs by them actually. One is Home, because I do feel like I have homes in a lot of places around the world and in a lot of people as well. Like, home is also people to me. So that's one, it's called Home. And the second is Every Part of You is Another Part of Me. So that's how I feel about the world as well, because I'm like, every part of you is another part of me. Like, I'm a culmination of all the experiences, like a mosaic of all the experiences. So yeah, those are the 2 songs.
When I went to Afghanistan for the first time, it was before Taliban invasion, when things were quite dangerous. There was like really great experience. I was traveling solo, had to go solo into the country, and just be with the local. They took me around. take the local buses, even hitchhike once. So that was probably the craziest thing, one of the craziest. But there's just so many things that you could talk to you for a long time.
Well, I will come back to that, and let me actually ask you, flip this question. Is there any normal thing that you've done because you only do crazy things on your Instagram and
What if I'm nervous? I was all prepared for my crazy experiences, and I was just like, and you just like flip the question over. So no, I'm going to flip it back. The craziest experience, I think Bjorn would also agree. One of the craziest was also the iron ore experience in Warren.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm so happy to meet somebody who's done it.
Yeah, well,
Because you know what it's like.
it's amazing.
Yeah,
It's like the rawness of knowing in the Sahara Desert.
Train experience. It happens in Mauritania, which is like a really remote country in Africa. Most of the country is the Sahara Desert. And it's one of the only legal, semi-legal, I want to say.
Semi-legal. It's legal a little bit.
Yeah. But it's kind of India-like in that sense. You kind of get away with things. But yeah, so you do this experience. It's for free. And you climb onto a train which has about 40 wagons. And it is filled with iron ore, like proper koila. That's what it's filled of, like iron ore. And you spend anywhere between 18 hours to 3 days on it. So you pee there, you poop there, you eat there, you sleep there. You basically are on the train. There are no stops. Like once the train starts, there are absolutely no stops. And like if you say this or even if you watch the experience, you're just like, why would you want to do that? But you saw the smile on this man's face, right? So that's the reason why you do it. It's just the feeling of being on an open train. Everyone loves Chaya Chaya. Like, I have grown up on Chaya Chaya. So for me, it was a dream to actually be on an open train, and it was incredible.
And it's 700 kilometers long. So you're going 700 kilometers through the Sahara Desert on top of this train, and you're covered in iron ore dust. You have to wear ski goggles. You have to wear a scarf. You have to really cover yourself in the nighttime, because at nighttime it gets really cold.
Yeah.
But we do it because we love it.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Exactly. It's incredible.
Let me actually move back to Manish, and he must be thinking, how many luxury, everything in terms of cruise. Can we do a Chaya on a cruise? Is that even a feasibility? Well, we are not stopping you from doing that, but we'll not. It will not be great to see someone dancing Chaya all the way in the middle of Antarctica. But yeah, who's stopping you from doing anything at all, right? Specifically ask you a question. Okay, this is very opposite side of the spectrum. Probably if the train was to be done by Panan, you would suddenly have caviar and champagne served on the same horse, right? That you will bring the Panan twist to it. But I want to travel and I want to experience what you're doing, but I don't want to break the bank. Can I actually do that? Because this all sounds very fancy, but you really have to give all your life savings into this. Is this true? No, that's absolutely not true. The only thing is then you start pre-planning. The early you plan, the better deals that you get. I'll just, bring this up. So summiting Mount Everest, how many of you know summiting Mount Everest? How much does it cost per person? It's all about the achievement of summiting Mount Everest that costs anywhere between 75 lakhs to 80 lakhs individually with all the Sherpa and everything. Here, the Sherpa is a luxury Panan ship. You have butlers and sommeliers and, wine servers. And yes, that comes at a wonderful value. And you pre-plan and you get great deals without breaking any bank accounts.
You want to get out of your comfort zone. You want to do something completely different. You want to skip Bali this year or Barcelona and do something completely out of the ordinary. The trips are not that pricey. Our tours somewhere between 7 to 12 days, depending on the destination. And they're around maybe $1,700 to $2,300, somewhere in that range. And that is excluding flights, because people are coming from all over the world. We do group tours. So in one group, we maybe have, 8 different nationalities. So it becomes a very tight group. When you travel with someone for so long, it becomes like a family. So the groups, it's a lot of fun, and people tend to come back. That's why we continue to do new destinations. Like every year, we introduce maybe 4 or 5 new locations, new countries. And we have a lot of returning puffins that are coming every year, a few times a year.
Right.
And you've done some of these experiences. So, as a solo and at times, traveling with fellow female travelers, Do you want to touch upon the security aspect of it? You know, how do you actually even look at that when you're going to some of these places, which I would never even imagine of going to?
So I think in terms of safety, I'm sure my fellow female travelers would also agree. I think there are a few basics that we always stick with, especially if it's like park-run places like Bjorn was mentioning. We like to go with guides because I think it's a very short way of knowing that, okay, the places that you're going to are trustworthy and stuff. I'm talking about very far-flung places. I also really enjoy backpacking. I've lived a lot in hostels and just like taken the backpack and just like left, right? Like with no plan whatsoever. I do believe that like you develop a kind of an instinct as women more than anything, but also as travelers. You kind of do, and I will always say that like if you're feeling something, it's probably right. So if you're feeling something at the pit of your stomach, you always trust it and you run. It doesn't matter if you're being rude. It doesn't matter if it looks bad. I don't care. Like if I'm feeling unsafe, if I'm feeling off about something even slightly, I'm done. I'm gone. That said, we usually try and land during the day so that it's easier to navigate. You can see things better. More people are around on the roads and stuff. So I think these are a few things that I would definitely advise.
Is there any such thing as safety when you're probably doing cruise travel? Anything that you need to consider when it comes to the safety aspect? Choose for on. Yeah, I mean, it's the safest way to go. It's a technologically advanced modern ship. That's the reason I would say that, of course, choose this, cruise line. But other than that, also, there are many travel experts out here who would help you book. It's always great to go with travel agents when you are considering any journey of this nature because there's a lot of hand holding that you would need, right? I mean, visa and things is just one aspect of it. If it was Dubai or Thailand, you could do it yourself. You don't even need a travel expert. But I have my fellow travel agents here who, we help and support, get this done because there's a lot of pre-planning needed. So it's not an overnight that you can just wake up one day and be like, next day or next 10 days, I want to go to Antarctica. Yes, you can do that. We have travel experts who can pull that off. But pre-plan and then, go with travel agents for the safest and the best experience. And there's one more thing which I actually wanted to know. There are a lot of times, people have misconceptions about cruise travel. Generally, what are the misconceptions that are there and how do you sort of even address that? So from the India standpoint, whenever I would first, speak to an Indian traveler who's considering cruise, I would start by mentioning if you're considering a casino, gambling, Cirque du Soleil performances, this is not the ship that you're considering. This is about, small, limited guests, 200 numbers, looking for enrichment, sessions about learning the flora, fauna, the nature, and the environment. Also, you will always come back impacted in a very different manner. You will be a different person after visiting something of this nature because you get up close and person to the nature that you're around, the flora, the fauna, the wildlife, the penguins, the penguin colony is a wonderful, polar bears, the king of Arctic, and things like that. So yeah, that's kind of gonna help you consider this. Sure. Let's actually talk about comfort zone, and both of you fall into that category. I'll probably start with you first, Bjorn. A lot of your experiences are actually pushing yourself out of the comfort zone, and I hope, if not everybody, but many in the probably seated over here have never done that. So how do you actually get started? How do you push yourself out of comfort zone to even think and dare to sort of try some of these experiences and travel to the destinations that you're catering to?
Yeah, often the hardest part is just to take this first step, and then when you've done this first step, it gets easier, but then you have to push further, and you want to get further, and you want to push yourself as far out from the comfort zone as you can, because that's really where the magic happens. So, exactly. So if you really want to get out of your comfort zone, start today. Do something that makes you uncomfortable, and you feel the rush. Something happens, and then do it again, and do it again, and really try to push your limits. And going on these kind of journeys, for a lot of people, that is a big step. But that's why we do group trips. We have a really good crew that takes care of us throughout the whole trip. So people really they do feel safe. No, it is like really, really something out of their own comfort zone.
Let's actually talk about your 100 dives, right? That's again like I think that's a credible feat. Bjorn, pardon me, I'm switching to Hindi. कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि यार लगता है कि यार ये गलत चीज कर ली या कोई ऐसा experience which made you think that am I actually doing the right thing? And you had something like a near death-like experience, right?
I think कम से कम 10-15 दिन में एक बार होता है. Then what am I doing? Like that big question. I think the most recent was the I know thing where you say, what am I doing? Like why am I pushing myself to do these kind of things? But that's the thing. Like it's the type B kind of fun. So there are two kinds of fun according to this friend of mine on a trip had taught me this. There are two kinds of fun. One is type A fun and one is type B fun. Type A fun is when you're having fun and you know you're having fun. Like it's a beautiful landscape, you're having fun. But type B kind of fun is when you are cursing yourself at that point, like, what did I just do? But they make for the best stories after, and they make for the most memorable experiences after. So, yeah, I think it's the type B kind of fun that, and I know that it's probably at that moment it feels like, oh my God, this is the end of things. But they usually make for the most memorable experiences. Yeah.
Have you had any kind of iffy adventures? I remember actually 2012, I went to a place called Thalin, and I actually used to kind of do kayaking, and I was pretty adventurous. And I remember that I went to a river forest, and the next thing I realized is I'm right in the middle of dense forest, and the kayak flipped. And like being a fool, I was carrying a passport. Thankfully, that passport actually got stuck into the kayak. And instead of saving myself, I was trying to save the passport because that's the funny thing. I mean, I would not blame you. It's necessary to save yourself and the passport equally when you're overseas. Yeah, and the most idiotic thing I did was I was actually with the entire crew, which was speaking French. Nobody knew, English. They thought that I'm actually stuck over there and I'm in the middle of. I'm probably just hanging around. And I said, guys, please save me, right? So have you had any of these experiences? Oh, well, you mean near-death experiences? Not, I mean, so I did polar plunge, but that was not near-death. It was something I consciously chose to jump into the polar water, and it was fun. But it was on another trip that I had with my friends. I went hiking here within India in the Himachal, and then we were trekking down back. I don't know if you know the snow line in upwards of Dharamkot. So I was trekking back, and then we had a guide, of course. I was about to slip down, and then I had flashes of my whole life. The next thing I kind of managed myself down, and I was right in front of the Shiv temple, thanking myself. And ever since then, I only thank that okay, fine, we are alive, we are living and breathing, and to experience life as it should be. So yeah, that could be the near-death experience that I have. Yeah. I think I forgot to ask you about your favorite song. Did I? No, I mean, now since you asked me about my favorite song, and I can't make it to the Coldplay concert because I did not get the passes, of course. But yeah, Coldplay is my favorite band, and you've never done Coldplay. I've done that twice. I mean, now I'm jealous, of course, but I've done
That's
twice Antarctica.
not a level up from
I mean, I've not done Coldplay concert attending. I've done twice Antarctica, once Arctic, once Greenland on the polar icebreaker. Not bragging, but I've done that. But yeah, song-wise, I mean, fix you. So if you need fixing for any of these cruising journeys, I can fix you. Yeah.
Bjorn, let's have a very quick conversation on the sustainability aspect of the business front.
Yes, sir.
Everything sounds great, cool, the kind of destinations you're catering to, but are you really making money? Are you running a profitable business?
Yes. And now, the
Guys,
first
that
year,
deserves an applause.
the first year was incredibly difficult. The first year I was just losing money. But that's again what you talked about. You gotta believe in it. You just gotta believe that you will be able to, sell more in the next tour. So the first year, I think all the tours that we ran were in minus. And when I went into the second year, I just had to continue to believe that I will have more customers, and then we have to create some more exciting new tours. The second year was better, and then the last year was really good.
And help me explain the triangle. This dude from Iceland, living in Sri Lanka, catering to these destinations, talking in India. What's going on?
I see the confusion here.
Global domination.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, as I said earlier, I left Iceland 15 years ago when I was 20, and I've been traveling full time my whole life. And I kind of knew that I was not going to live in Iceland, though I love the country more than anything. And I think it's one of my favorite places to travel to. But for some reason, I've always had my eyes open. Where am I going to settle down? So it's a question I've had been ringing in my head in every new country that I go to. So I had been to Sri Lanka multiple times, and then in COVID, I went to Sri Lanka, and something happened. I was like, "This is it. That's my place." So I started to look for where on the island I wanted to live, And so I have my company in Dubai. I live in Sri Lanka, operating tours in Afghanistan, and living from Iceland. So it's a bit confusing.
Well, it sounds awesome. So we'll do a quick wrap up with some fun wrap up questions for you all. I'll go starting from the lady, and let's start with the first question. So if your adventures could be turned into a movie, who would you want to play you, and what would the title be?
At the risk of sounding extremely narcissistic, I want to play me. And it'll probably be called Monkey See, Monkey Do, because Monkey sees and Monkey does. So it'll be called Monkey See, Monkey Do, because I want to see and experience things. So yeah.
How about you, Bjorn?
Who would play me? Wow, I don't know. I'm a big Brad Pitt fan, so he could play it. Brad Pitt, why not? Yeah.
Manish is still thinking. Any choices?
It's a difficult thing for anyone to play me. I mean, no, just kidding. I'd also like to play myself. I mean, why give it? Stay authentic. Yeah.
Okay, and if you could just pack and leave for any spontaneous trip tomorrow, where would you go?
A spontaneous trip tomorrow. I mean, it's wherever the Indian passport can have free visa access. I mean, that's the easiest thing to do. Yeah. So just pick bags and leave.
How about you, Bjorn?
Tomorrow, a spontaneous trip. I might just go to Bhutan. It's been on my list for a very long time. So yeah, if I could go to Bhutan tomorrow, I would choose that.
So nice.
How about you, Gil?
I really been wanting to go to Madagascar because physically fit. So I think Madagascar.
Okay, this was not a part of the script, but I'm from Delhi, so let's just do a quick rapid fire. Delhi or Mumbai?
Mobile.
I'm going to be pulled out. I'm the only Delhi guy here. So, okay.
I don't even want to answer. I'm from Bombay. Yeah, there you go.
Right. So let's talk about travel packing, right? Is there anything specific that you pack when you're going for your trips, which actually surprises people and they're like, what? Is this guy actually even travel planning or packing for this? What is it that you actually pack?
Well, generally in the backpack would be like a Swiss knife. You never know when that comes handy. It has multiple features. So yeah, that could be something that I'll definitely keep in the bag.
Yeah. I've always traveled as light as possible. So for most of the time when I was traveling around the world, I traveled with only 7 kilos in my backpack. And that was everything I owned. I gave everything away, all my clothes in Iceland, I gave it away. So these 7 kilos I was carrying on my backpack was everything I had in life. But when I left Iceland, I packed a lot of stuff. And there's one item that is still in my backpack since I packed 15 years ago. And it's a t-shirt. And I call it the adventure t-shirt. So every time I'm doing some sort of unusual adventure, the adventure t-shirt goes on. And I love the t-shirt. It's a very colorful t-shirt. And so, yeah, if I'm doing the iron ore train, for example, or hiking up, high mountains, the adventure t-shirt goes on.
This is for Ankita. I absolutely love your content. And so I'm at that age where I have to ask my parents before I can go anywhere. And every time I tell them that I want to do anything which is adventurous, the obvious answer is no. And you even made a whole episode or like a whole reel about this where things I did without telling my parents. So I just want to know how that works for you and how was it like traveling at a young age and everything like that.
I actually like to say that first my parents brought me up and then I brought them up. Because I think it's what we were discussing. You just have to keep pushing their limits, along with yours. So I think they've just accepted the fact that they can't tell me no. Like that's a word that doesn't exist in our family anymore. But yeah, they've been extremely supportive of me. So while I don't tell them that I'm doing it at that moment, the first call that goes out after I've done it is to them. 100%. And they're my biggest supporters. They're absolute darlings, and I'm very, very lucky to have them, that kind of support in my life. But yeah, I do tell them, but after I've done them. The whole idea of what you do is very fancy. But
Thank you.
I think it might be a bitter question. But when you go to such pristine and, untouched places, and you literally break the icebergs and torch through glaciers,
Like, how do you ensure that the people you're taking are responsible humans and they don't, it does not affect the ecosystem at that place and it does not do any long-term damage now that this kind of tourism might also increase in the future. So how do you take care of that aspect?
So it's a great question. Thank you very much, because there's a lot of tourism that's growing towards these remote and pristine destinations, and it's essential to thereby choose a modern, technologically advanced ship. There are polar class ships that one must consider when they're doing Antarctica, Arctic, or anywhere to these polar destinations. So, for example, Panan, the foundation is about oceans, people, and communities, and the nature, the wildlife. Our icebreaker, all our ships are clean ship certified. These are the only ships in the world with Green Globe certification. There is no other cruise line. What I mean is basically the icebreaker, it runs on battery, it is LNG powered. The idea is to have as limited carbon emission as is necessary or as it happens generally. Moreover, it's also, unless and until you do not go, you would not know. So there is a lot of research and data that is collected. We have a science program. Recently, 20 scientists joined our icebreaker. They went and just they researched while people are traveling and touring. They researched about the plastic particles in the ocean, even in the Arctic or Antarctica, how the things in the ecosystem functioning over the years, the change in the weather, the climate, and things. All that data is basically analyzed, and then it's available for people to work and study around. So yes, ensuring that you choose a polar class ship, something like Clean Ship certified that we are. Green Globe certified vessels running on LNG powered. We are zero plastic on the icebreaker, absolutely. So much so that when we go to Etokotomit, we also support these communities, right? So they would give us things that they want from our worlds because they're so remote. And the only condition that Panan would have is that we'll bring it, but we'll not bring it plastic wrapped at all. So it is not plastic wrapped. We'll bring that can travel, and then we'll be.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we'd like to sign up for the panel Journeys of a Lifetime. It's Ankita, Bjorn, Manish, and myself, Daksh. Thank you so much for attending.
Thank you so much.